We must reconcile ourselves to the fact that there are no easy fixes to disinformation. It's a problem as old as we are a species. We can, however, dull the effects of disinformation. We can make the information environment work for us, and we can grow more resilient as a society if we are willing to admit an uncomfortable truth. And that is that we, ladies and gentlemen, are the problem. All of us. Whether we work in PR or the press or advertising, or we just sit on the couch tuned to cable TV, we, the consumers and purveyors of news and information, must prove willing to change the way we absorb and interpret that news and information. And until we do, no amount of legislation, regulation, or cyber defenses are going to save us from the perils of disinformation. Yes, Russian troll farms are bad, as are the Chinese state-owned media. So are the so-called black PR firms that propagate falsehoods for profit, and the big tech companies that are unwilling to admit that they are also publishing companies. Goodness knows, we need more transparency out of government as well. But we've got to take a look in the mirror and ask ourselves, as citizens, what can we do to make ourselves less vulnerable? Well, first we can try a little abstinence. Just unplug. There was a terrific article last week written by the former executive officer of an aircraft carrier about the degree to which combat readiness on his ship was hurt by sailors who couldn't stay offline. Distracted by their friends' posts, feeling like they were missing out, stressed out about issues over which they have no control, some of these young men and women were not appropriately focused on the mission at hand. Now, that's not just dangerous for their shipmates, it's dangerous for us all. I'm not suggesting we can all unplug all the time. Connective technology can be a force for good, even healing at times. And certainly not all the content to which we are exposed is disinformation. I myself rely heavily on Twitter for the knowledge of breaking news every day. All I know is that when I do take a break for a few days from Twitter and Facebook, I think more, read more, ask more questions. I'm a better analyst here at CNN, and I don't yell quite as much at the clouds and the kids playing on my lawn. And that's another thing. We need to ask ourselves why we are so damn angry all the time. Maybe it really is this or that policy, this or that politician. Maybe it really is over a cause we believe in. But it could also be that we've been exposed to disinformation. Disinformation is designed to appeal to our emotions. It gets our Irish up and our blood boiling. Think about the headlines you see in the tabloids versus those you see on the front pages of the Washington Post or the New York Times. Or how about the headlines you see in those clickbait sponsored sites versus legitimate online outlets? There's lots of exclamation points or all caps, inflammatory language. Yes, they want you to read or click or watch, but mostly they want you to believe. They know that you will be much more likely to believe something, to surrender your good judgment if they can appeal to your emotions. That's why the Russians were so effective at stirring up American racial tensions on Facebook in 2016. It's what led a man to storm a downtown DC pizza joint that he believed was a front for human trafficking. Google searches. There's another good idea. They aren't a panacea, of course. You've got to consult established sources, and that requires some effort. But there's nothing magical about teaching oneself to reverse search an image, for instance, to find out its real source. There's nothing magical about fact-checking, which we can all do. Reputable news outlets are pouring enormous resources into full-time fact-checking today, including my network here at CNN. Regrettably, it's become a 24-hour gig, and sometimes we have to do it in real time. But we believe facts are important, and so should you. Indeed, I'd go so far as to say that if you aren't getting your news from outlets that don't provide a fact-checking function in their pages or on their sites, you're cheating yourself. And if, as a PR professional, you aren't doing your utmost to fact-check every claim your company or candidate makes, you are cheating your customers, voters, and clients, your fellow citizens.